everyone, my name is Rogers, and this is a Barre class. So Barre is a combination of dance conditioning exercises. We do a lot of repetition and we focus on good techniques so that we can learn how to use the core to support all of our movements. Today's focus is going to be a lot on the legs, the back, and the core as always. You don't need any equipment, so let's go ahead and get started. Start with your feet wide apart, hands on the hips, bend the knees down, and start to push off and use your toe to push away from the floor. Find your balance and transfer the weight of the hip all the way over onto one leg. Find a moment to pause and balance. Take deep breaths, press off and down. Use your other leg to bend and push off. Plie that leg, push off. Deep breaths. Almost there. 4 more. And 3. And 2. And 1. Now sway the hips from side to side, bending one knee and straightening the other. Side to side. As you do this, push your feet so that you're transferring energy from your feet up and over into your hips and over to the other side. Go from side to side. So you're not just bending your knee, you're literally pushing the foot to make that knee bend and transfer the weight. Now going to the other side, push off and bend. Push off, so come up onto a straight leg to find that balance. Push the toes, develop the arches of your foot. Take deep breaths. If you do this really with a lot of concentration, you're going to get a lot more out of every single move. So a lot of the moves in dance are quite simple, but we focus on refining how they start and how long we hold. So a lot of it depends on what your energy is. Do 2 more, and last one. Start to transfer from side to side, bend and straight, hips go side to side. Side and up, side and up. Feel that rhythm, that rocking wave motion. Hips are dipping down, and now start to add the arms, swinging from side to side. Let the arms drop heavy in the middle, and feel the suspension as they come up. Side to side. Good. Now add the legs, lifting and lifting. Use the side of the hip muscles to get the leg as high as you can. Deep breaths. Side, side, deep breath. Almost there. Let's take 4 more. And 3, 2, and 1. Bringing it back to the center. Starting to take a little prance with the feet. So starting low, just keeping the heels pressing and pressing. You want to imagine that you are stepping on a soft racquetball on your heels, and you're trying to squash it. So press through the heels, feel the articulation of the feet. This will really stretch out and develop your arches. It'll help you with a good pointed foot. It's also going to help you with your jumps. So let's go ahead and take that a little faster. Press the heel, press the heel, press the heel. You'll notice that you'll start to feel the glutes and the hamstrings activating just as much as the quads. So really use your feet to activate your hips and core. Good, let's take 8 more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift up onto your tiptoes, find your balance. Rib cage right on top of the hips. Take a deep breath, and now lower the heels down. Bend into the ankles, just a gentle stretch for the calves, and take the toes turned out to the side. Let's take our plies down and up, down and up. Let the shoulders relax. Stretching the arms, stretching the torso. And as you're doing these plies, try to bring your heels squeezing towards the midline of the body. So the inner thighs will zip up as you press. This will give you a really stable base. So if you find yourself kind of wobbling around, you might not be thinking about your feet. So if you think about your feet pushing down and inward, you're going to have a lot more stability in the legs and the pelvis. Take 4 more, and 3. Getting ready for a weight transfer in this position. So take it down into your deep plie and just start to shift the weight from side to side. So the pelvis transfers over one foot and then the other. You do this by pushing your foot. Push your foot to straight, push your foot, push your foot. It's not for the knees that we're doing this. We're always pressing from our feet. So the feet start everything. Arms out to the side. Turn the arms inward and outward. Inward and outward. Really feel that moving, that rolling rhythm. Deep breaths. Out to the side and center. Deep breaths. 2 more. Now getting ready, taking both knees nice and wide, pulse it down. Activate through the inner thighs. If you're feeling mostly through the quads, see if you can push your heels down and towards the midline. Then you'll feel your inner thighs and hamstrings fire up. This will make the thigh muscles more even and help you to feel more balanced. It also helps with knee problems because a lot of knee problems come from overusing just the quads. We want to use all the thigh muscles equally. Good, now take it low, taking the arms, sweeping from side to center. Side and center. Keep your hips still and just feel your rib cage stretching away from your hips. Legs are solid as if they're encased in a cement block, and the rest of your body is free to move. Deep breaths from side to center, side and center. 2 more. Now this next one, you're going to be shifting the weight, straightening one leg, reaching the arms in opposition to each other. Take the arms to the center in a plie, and then come over to the other side. And center, so we bend the knees, and then just straighten one as we reach side. Bend the knees, straighten one as you reach to the side. Let's take that up to tempo. Bend center, and one side straight. Bend center, and side. Sweep, and stretch. Bend and stretch, bend and stretch. Good. Should start to feel some heat. Deep breaths. 1 more to each side. Now this time adding a leg lift off. So the whole thing and side. You're just lifting your foot off, point the toes, and try to suspend your balance for a few seconds. Suspend and suspend up. Reach out. Out. Woo. Push down through those feet. Really test your balance here. The head is slightly off center, so let your head go to the side. A little bit of a diagonal pull. Arms and legs are stretching away from each other, and that will keep you balanced on that standing leg. Let's take 1 more to each side. And last one. Back to the center, pulsing plie. Turn the arms in and out. In and out. Deepen your breath. It's a lot of cardiovascular work. Even though we're not jumping around, you're still getting a lot of blood flow to all the major muscle groups. So this is a really great way to train your cardio, even in low impact. Nice job. Let's go ahead and bring the feet together and take regular plie. Press and up. Deep breaths. Now if you like, you can add a little bit of a challenge here. Try to keep your heels together and lift up onto your toes, just to the ball of the foot. Press. Now let's take the arms a little higher. Bend the knees, lift the heels. Bend the knees, lift the heels. Take some concentration. Deep breaths. Up and down. Up and down. 2 more. Now getting ready to hold in the center and pulse it. Heels are still touching. Activate through the quads and the hamstrings, core muscles, everything is working together. And done. Lift up onto your tiptoes, find your balance, floating the arms. And now everyone test your balance, taking the arms out to the side, close your eyes. Be honest, really actually close them. This teaches you whether or not you're actually straight or not. And so it's just a way to kind of check in and see where you can make some adjustments in your spine. And open your eyes, lower your heels, and go ahead and take the knees rocking from side to side. Lift one heel at a time, and just prance those feet out. Now if you like, you can always do this with the feet on the floor. We're going to start lifting our feet a little higher off the ground. Now it looks like my knees are doing the job, but they are not. It's the toes. So take a look at the toes. They are pushing off the floor. So that's the action that you want to do. Let's go ahead and take that from the beginning. Point the toes, flick. So it's almost like you're trying to flick some gum off of your toes. So flick the gum off your toes, and the knee will just respond. So the knee does not pick up, it's the toes, toes. Excellent, keep it going. Your feet should start to feel really warm, articulated, strong, and powerful. If you have strong feet, you'll have strong body. It's really an important thing to learn. Let's come back to the center and just pulse the legs out, stretching out the Achilles, the calves, and the feet. Lift your toes up a little bit, stretch them out wide, and relax. Inhale, stretch the arms up, keep the toes turned out, flat back over. Reach the hands to the floor or to a block, or you can have a chair if that's a little far for you. Then take a deep, wide plie, keeping your heels on the ground. So just enough to stretch the calves. And then straighten both legs. Do 3 of these. Plie down and extend. At your third one, extend and hold. One arm comes off the floor, second arm comes off. Flat back to come all the way up. Let's go ahead and tilt it down again. Maintaining that turned out position, hands to the floor. Bend the knees 3, and straight. And 2, straight. Last one, straight, flat back to come up. Let's take that again. So this is kind of like a ballet deadlift here. Press the ankles apart, plie, third plie, and then rise up, flat back. We'll take one more, take it all the way down to the ground, bend the knees for 3, and 2, and 1, straight legs, flat back, rise all the way up as one unit, tiptoes for balance, arms out to the side, rib cage right on top of the hips. Gently press the tailbone down and lift the belly button up. Find your balance, and then release. Nice job, you guys. Taking the legs into parallel position. Should be nice and warm. I've got sweat running down my face already. So bend your knees just so that they're nice and available for you. So we're just going to take a little bounce, and then taking the arms, swing forward and back. Forward and back. Now you'll notice that your arms get kind of stuck at some point. So I'm going to give you a couple tips. Palms are going to rotate up, so little fingers will come as high as possible, and then when you go back, turn your thumbs so that they are back, and you'll get a little more range. Let's begin. Pinkies forward, thumbs back. Pinkies up, thumbs back. Rotate the shoulder, the forearm, and the wrist. Give a little more expression through the hands. So they're not just swinging like sticks. They have some turn and rotation to them. Little fingers up, thumbs back. Little fingers up, thumbs back. Good job. And now coming back to the center, you're going to do one at a time. So one little finger forward, one thumb back. One little finger forward, one thumb back. Side and side. Start to transfer the weight, taking your walks. Turn, rotate the shoulder inward and outward. One of each. Deep breaths. Let your head sway from side to side. Enjoy that swinging motion. This helps you to develop good balance skills, good awareness of your body and space. So a lot of times in dance, we do a lot of repetition so that you can gain these skills so your muscles don't have to think so hard, that they just do them automatically. Let's take 4 more. And 3, 2, and 1. Coming back to the center. Just going to take a swing, swing. This time, thumbs are up and you're rotating your torso. So the arms are no longer rotating, but your torso is. Torso twist side and side. Knees stay pretty much to the front. Don't let your legs twist too much. There might be a little bit that happens naturally, and you can let that, but don't over-exaggerate it. Make this mostly about the upper body. Deep breaths. 2 more. And last one, back to your center, hands on the shoulders, legs nice and wide, bend the knees a little bit, and just take a pulsing twist, double to the side, and double to the side. Here we go. Deep breath, side, and pulse, pulse, and pulse, pulse, and pulse. So we're working core muscles without doing sit-ups necessarily. I love sit-ups, but sometimes we need to be able to use our abs in real life. We need to be able to use the abs when we're standing, when we're doing other activities throughout the day. So use your core to create the twist. Your arms are not helping at all. That's why they're on your shoulders. So you have to use your waist. Almost there. 4 more. And 3. And 2. And 1. Excellent. Arms out to the side. We're going to be taking a little curtsy. So drop down, touch the floor, and back to the center. Drop down and back to the center. So the knees are touching each other behind to give yourself stability. Keep your back flat. You don't have to touch the floor, but you do want to have that back nice and flat. Tuck it down and lift up. Tuck it down and lift up. 2 more like this. And last one. Now we'll take the leg a little further behind, dip to the floor, and lift up. We'll stay on one side for a moment. So one leg is crossed behind you, and the other is forward. Your front leg is bent, your back leg is straight, and you're trying to keep your heel on the ground as much as possible. Everyone's going to have a little bit of a different range of motion in that calf, and that's fine. If the heel doesn't touch the floor, just pretend that it is. Put so much energy into the back leg that you're anchored. That's the point. And then come on up, open it out to the side, step your other foot behind you, lower the heel as much as you can, keep your front knee bent, and bow. So we're bowing from the hip, not from the back. The back is flat, so it kind of feels robotic here. Nice flat spine for this one. Make sure that the legs are doing most of the work. You're going to feel that front leg bend and push off the ground. And that's what's going to give you that stability through the hips and thighs. Deep breaths. 2 more. And last one. Nice job. Coming back to the center, hands on the hips. I'm going to take one leg behind and dip it down to the ground. So dip, lift, and then push off the back foot, and then back to the center. Bow the torso forward, lift up, and push off the toes. So we're really working into the stability of the core, the back, and the backs of the thighs. Press down and lift up, reach out. Now if you want to get fancy with your arms, you can bow down, lift up, push off. And again, touch the floor, back is flat the whole time. There's no rounding of the spine. If you don't touch the floor, that's fine. Keep the back flat first, and your range will improve as your legs get stronger. This looks very simple, but it's very, very difficult. So there's a lot of work going on, a lot of precision. So make it precise. Don't try to touch the floor if that's not your range. 1 more. Down, up, push off, and center. Come back to the center, and let's take that to the other side. Cross your opposite leg behind you. Start with both feet flat on the floor, and then bow the torso forward. Straight torso, push off the back leg. Try to maintain core strength, especially in the front. Deep breaths. Now whenever you're ready, you can take the arms. Back hand is going to touch the ground or get close. As long as your back stays nice and flat, that's what we want. Tabletop, tabletop, all the way up and all the way down. So it's about the hips and the thighs doing the work. Your back will feel the work because the legs are starting it. So initiation, where you start a movement, makes a big difference. Take deep breaths, really solidify the core, and make the legs do most of the work. Bowing and pushing off. Almost there. Let's take 3 more. Bow and push off. And 2 more. Lift. Last one. And lift up. And step back to the center. From here, start to bend one knee and push all the weight into the side of the hip. And then switch. Other knee bends, hip stretches. So bend to stretch into the side of the hips. This will help with your recovery. Now start to let the arms swing, and the torso will gently twist from side to side. This should feel really good, very restorative. We always want to make sure that you allow the muscles time to unwind after doing very specific, precise work. Deep breaths. Let those hips stretch out gently. Almost there. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Bringing the heels together, toes slightly apart. Arms come up in front like you're hugging a beach ball. We're just going to be taking one foot coming up and heel pressing back together. Here we go. Up and down. Take this a little slower, so you're not trying to get to the floor very quickly. So you're trying to suspend in place. When you do that, you're going to start to feel your hamstring squeezing to lift and bend the knee. The job of the hamstring is to bend the knee, and so many times the quadricep does the job instead. We need to let the hamstring do most of the work. So squeeze the back of the thigh to lift the leg up, and now hold one leg out, use the other arm up for balance, and then tap the toe and bring it back to the side of the knee. Tap and in, tap, in. Moving slowly for this first set. In a traditional dance class, we usually start slow, and then further on in class, we do all the speed work. So you want to make sure that you have the strength to hold yourself up and do it slow and precise. So try not to let the leg fall down, place it down. Be in charge of that leg. Almost there. Now hold it center and touch the ankle, knee. I call this one the violin. I always feel like I'm playing a violin with my leg. Take deep breaths, at least if I were. Take deep breaths. You're almost there. Up and down, up and down. 3, 2, 1. Crossing the ankle over. Take a deep breath. One foot is in front of the other. Dive forward, flat back, hands to the floor, and just let yourself stretch over. Relax the legs, relax the back. And then bend the knees, round the spine to slowly come up to standing. And then float up. One leg is still in front of the other. Find your balance. Deep, deep, deep breaths. Whew. And then lower it down. Bringing the heels back to neutral. Should be sweating by now. I know I am. Taking the hands in front just like a beach ball. And then getting ready to lift the leg up. Hold it up. And then tap it down. Here we go. Pull it up and down. As you're doing this, you're trying to keep your hips neutral. So if it helps you, push your hips down so that you don't lift a hip to lift your knee. So you don't want to come off center. You want to stay in place. This is what's going to work your hip flexors into your core. So keep your core stable and your hips stable and just let the leg do the work. Up and down, up and down. 2 more times. Then I'll hold it up, get ready to tap the leg out to the side. Use your other arm out for balance. Pull in, tap, pull in. I'm barely touching the floor, so there's no weight transfer on this. The foot is super light as it touches the floor and super light as it comes up. You're gonna feel the leg muscles working. So it won't feel light in the legs, but it'll be light in the toes. Take deep breaths. Tap and pause. Really try to show, picture every single time. Arrive in the bend, arrive in the straight. Almost there. And 2 more. Now get ready to play the fiddle, bringing the foot up to the knee and then down to the ankle. Up and down, up and down. Oh, that hip flexor should be working. Your hips are still. They are still. Take deep breaths. Up and down, hamstring, hip flexor, all working with the core, and done. Placing one ankle in front of the other, lift the torso upright, exhale, dive down, stretching out those legs. It's amazing, even though we're not jumping and bopping around, we are getting a lot of work done. Go ahead and bend your knees, roll up through the spine, 1 vertebrae at a time. Get ready for your balance. 1 foot is in front of the other. Zip the thighs together, find your balance. It's like you're balancing on a tightrope. 1 foot's in front of the other, and then slowly release. Nice job, you guys. So we're going to be taking the feet wide, and then cross over in the front, lift the back leg, and back to the center. Out to the side, cross over, and lift. So here we go. Side, cross, and out, cross, lift. Out, sure your plie is nice and deep in the center. Push off from the feet. Feet push off every time. See how that changes things. Push your feet, push your feet, push your foot, push your foot. Push, press. You'll notice you get a little bit of height there, as if you could go and do a jump. Deep breaths. Now, if you like, start a little jump here. So push off, little hop, bend, push off, little hop. Good. 4 more, and out. 3 more, out. 2 more. Good job. Last one, and center. Bend the knees, start to plie, open the arms in a circle. Down, forward, and out. Down, forward, and out. Deep breaths. Now keep the arms out to the side. Transfer the weight, just like we began in the beginning. Transfer the weight from side to side. Tilt the torso. Tilt. Almost there. Whew. Legs should be nice and warm. Heart rate is up. Arms are stretching. Your balance is strong. Press your feet to give your legs and your core the balance they need. Good. If you lose it, check your feet. Your feet are usually the reason that we start to lose the balance. So always start there. And now come back to the center. Pulse and plie. Turn the arms in and out. Deep breaths. Almost there. Let's take 8 more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the arms down. Stretching the thighs. Push the knees gently out. Rock your hips from side to side. Stretching long. Good. Turn the feet forward. Flatten the back. Stretch out your legs. Gently place the hands behind the head. Let your elbows come towards your ears. And just gently release the spine. So don't grip it. Just simply let it stretch down into gravity's pull. Hands come out to the floor. Bend the knees. Arms out to a T. Nice flat back. Bend and straighten the legs part way. Now if you have any strain in the back of the legs, you don't have to straighten the knees at all. You can just bend a little bit and straighten a little bit. It does not matter how straight the legs get. We just want to start working the quad and the hamstring to work together. Sometimes that takes some practice. So go gentle, no sensation behind the knee, just bend and straight, just to where you can. And then hands to the floor, stretch it out one more time. Deep breaths. Walk your hands over to the side of the foot. Bring your head as close to your knee as you can. And then over to the other side. Take long, slow, deep breaths to calm down the heart rate. And then swing it over to one side. Bending down into a deep lunge. Deep breaths. And just start to rock forward and back between the front foot and the back foot. So let the feet push you forward and then push you backwards. This will give you a good range of motion that's appropriate for you. 2 more times. Last one. Hold your deep lunge. Hands come up onto the thigh. Push both feet apart from each other. Once you push those feet, you're going to have a lot more stability through the core and through the legs. You'll also get a better stretch and be more supported. The feet are floppy, it's easy to kind of sink into the joint, and that's not what we want. So push your feet so your muscles are active. Now reach the arms up overhead. Open the chest. And then plant the hands. Walk it over to the other side. Lunge down. And then start to press back and forward. Back. Make sure you're pushing through your feet. Foot pushes you backwards, foot pushes you forwards. So front foot is going to push you backward, back foot pushes you forward. So feel that opposition. And now get ready. So hold your deep stretch, hands on the thigh, push your feet apart from each other. So they're really trying to push away as if you're in the splits. Feet push down, and that will give you the stability to support your joints so that you can stretch your muscles better. And now arms up. Keep pushing the feet apart, and then open your hands, open your chest, look up, and then hands come back to the center. So go ahead and take the knees side by side, and just take a couple of moves for the low back. Deep breath. 2 more. And last one. Go ahead and settle back down onto your heels, coming into a small child's pose and relax. Thank you so much for your practice today. If you have a little bit of extra time, you can go on to the second section of this video. Otherwise, you have done all that you need to do to get your legs nice and strong. The second section, it will be on the floor, and I'll see you there. Hi everyone, I'm Rogers, and we are back with some floor bar. This is one of my favorite parts of working out as a dancer, and I love it because it's super good for getting you to the technique that you need without worrying about your balance and if you're going to fall over or not. So this is going to help a lot with your hips, your thighs, legs, core, and of course your back. So we're going to be working a lot on the floor today. You don't need any equipment for this one. But if you want to challenge yourself, you're welcome to use a resistance band or ankle weights if you feel like you want a little more challenge. So let's go ahead and get started. So sit up nice and tall, bring the soles of the feet together, and wrap your elbows or your hands around your knees. So elbows are for those who've got a little more range of motion, hands for those who are working on it. So just start to rock one thigh from side to side, transferring your energy from one sit bone to the other. So lift one off and lift the other off. Rocking from side to side. Take deep breaths. Sit up tall. This helps to work your hip flexors and your core. Deep breaths. 2 more. And last one. Let's go ahead and add on. Soles of the feet will be together. One foot will come press to the floor and push up onto your shin. Reach out and then sit down. Cross over. Press up and down. Sitting down and lift up. Curve down. Use your core, entire body is rounding into a ball and then stretching out long. Good job. Now you can stay here while keeping the knees bent in, or you can start to add an extension of one leg at a time. Reach from side to side. This feels really good. Stretches out the abdomen, helps you to feel coordinated from the core all the way up through the legs and arms. So this helps you to feel connected. Let's take a couple more. One more to the side and center. Last one. And then back to the center. Bring the soles of the feet together. We're going to lift the heels up off the ground. The toes will remain as much as possible. And hands will come to either side. Sit your torso up nice and straight. And then start to extend the right leg, one leg forward at a time. So take it forward and in, forward and in. So this one comes in handy when you're trying to work on being able to lift your leg up and suspend it with a lot of control. So you start on the floor so that the hips remain stable. It's a lot of work for the core, and when you do this in standing, you'll also notice it's a lot of work as well. Switch to the other side. Out and in. Out and in. Deep breaths. Try not to slouch. Stay upright. Use your hands to support you until you can use your core to hold you upright. So if you need more challenge, no hand support, just sit up tall. Almost there, 2 more. And last one, bringing the heels together, sit up tall again, and then take the leg out and out to the side. So center and side. If you need a little more challenge, arms out. Remember that you can always put the support back in place. This is plenty of work, no matter what option you're choosing. Almost there, 4 more. And 3, and 2, and 1. Back to the center, other side. Leg goes forward and side. Forward and side. You'll notice that deep abdominal muscles are working together with your inner thighs. That's what we want to feel. It's very, very difficult to do this. If you're a dancer, you'll know this works your fouette turns. If you don't dance, it doesn't matter. You still need to have strong hip flexors. And then come back to the center, bring the soles of the feet together, sit up nice and tall, and stretch forward. We always want to make sure to stretch out the back and the thighs in between these very specific exercises. They're very, very strong, so we need to be able to relax in between each of them. And then go ahead and sit yourself up, extend your legs forward, and then hands can be behind you. Lift your hips up and down. So I'll turn to the side so that you can see. Try to point your toes, stay in parallel, and just lift the hips and lower. And lift and lower. So we're just giving the hip flexors an opportunity to stretch out, strengthen the backs of the legs. 2 more. And last one. Nice job. Let's go ahead and bring the feet underneath you. Lift your hips up into a tabletop, and then dip the hips down and up. 2 times with just the hips, and then 2 times bending the elbows. So find the difference between the two. Just the hips, just the hips. Now elbows bend with you. Good. Try not to shrug the shoulders. Hips down for 2, down and up, and then 2 elbow bends. Good. Hips up by themselves. Try to get the hips as high as you can, and then bend everything down and up. Down and up. Now hold your center. Transfer the weight to one foot. Tap the toe to the knee, and then extend out and in. Out and in. Hips are trying to go high. Make a nice flat tabletop with your torso as best you can. And then switch sides. Knee taps and out. Tap and out. In and out. In and out. 2 more. This one's very hard. We don't do a lot of back work, so it's a lot of challenge. Go ahead and sit your hips down, extend your legs, and reach out long. Maybe just touch the toes, or if you need a little more stretch, you can bend the elbows and fold over the thighs. Excellent. Let's get ready to work some side legs again. Sitting up tall, bend one knee in, and I like to move this leg more on the diagonal. So if you crank it clear out to the side, you're not going to be able to lift it very well. So pull it out to the side, to the corner, and then just take a moment, turn the thigh in and out. So your hips are still, you're just moving the thigh in the socket. Now maintain turned out position, little toe will be close to the floor, and then lift off, up and down. Maintain turn out. When you do turn out, your leg can get a couple inches higher than if you're parallel. If you're parallel, your bones will usually stop you before you can go any higher than this. Remember, you can use your hands to support or challenge yourself with the arms out. Excellent. Now bow forward, stretch it out. These are all very specific exercises. They require stretching in between each one, and you don't have to do them very long for them to be effective. Now sitting up tall again, taking that same leg. Keep both of your sit bones on the ground and bend the knee in and out. In and out. Remember, you can use your hands to support you. You can also do this against a wall, which I recommend for most. That way you can keep your back flat. And if your leg slides along the ground, that's fine. You're still working the same muscles. Let's do 2 more. And last one. Lower down. This time stretch sideways over the leg. Take a couple deep breaths. Make sure both of your sit bones are on the ground so that you can anchor the pelvis. So that's what we want when we come to standing. We want to have centered pelvis so that our balance is good. Now take the torso forward. Hands forward. Gently stretch out the inner thigh. Good, and then over to the other side, stretch out nice and long. Lengthen through the hip flexor, that should feel so good after all that deep work, and then take a seat again. Let's take that whole fun surface on the second side. So extend one leg out to the side, make sure it's not too far, but it's more of a diagonal corner. And then start to turn your thigh in and out. Notice that your hips are all on the floor. There's no lifting, so you're just turning the thigh in the socket. If you're really tight in the socket, this may not be as big of a range, and that's okay. You just want to get movement for your hip socket. And now turn it out, little toe to the floor, and then start to lift up and down, up and down. Remember, use your hands or the wall to support your back. Nice straight spine, that's what we want. The leg, usually when you start, it barely gets off the floor. That's normal. Please keep practicing it, even if it's not high. It is usually never high on the first few tries. So just keep practicing. Almost there. And last one. Go ahead and stretch forward. Nice and easy release of the back and the legs. Let yourself enjoy the stretch. And then sitting up nice and tall, getting ready to bend the knee in and out. Make sure that you're flat up against the wall, the core is lifted, and keep your hips down. Cross over and extend. Bend and straight. Arms out to the side for a little more challenge. Take deep breaths. Use your core. Feel that connection between the inner thigh and your core muscles. Almost there. 2 more. And last one. Lay down flat over the legs, stretch sideways. This is so good for your hip flexors. There's a muscle that dancers usually develop so that they can get their leg high up. It's called the psoas muscle. It's really good for athletes, for dancers, and for everyone really. I always think that everyone is a dancer. Let's go ahead and lift yourself up. Stretching to the other side. Nice deep breaths. Lengthen out the front of the hip. It should feel super good. And now come back down to the center. Bring your legs out front, and I'll turn sideways so you can see this one. You're just going to be taking, and imagine that you're sitting up against a flat wall. So don't round backwards here. So sit against a literal wall if you have to. Now from here, flex and point the toes. Activate those ankles, and then circle your ankles one direction, and then the other. And now turn the thighs in and out. So your feet will look kind of like a windshield wiper. Kind of going out and in like this. Deep breaths. Good. Now stay in parallel. So both feet can make a straight line with your knees. Now you're going to be taking right leg up and down, up and down, up and down. Getting ready to take it up and side. Up and then side. So you're keeping your kneecap and your toes angled to the ceiling for this one. Sit up tall and sit up tall. This is a lot of work in that front of the hip flexor. This will develop deep low abs, and it will help you to be able to pull the abdominal muscles closer to the spine. So it'll give you more stability in the back, and it will kind of flatten out the front of the abs. And then back to the center. Go ahead and bow forward, gently stretch and release your low back. And then come back to your wall, or your imaginary wall. Let's take second side. Lifting up and down, up and down. Just start with up and down so that you can maintain parallel position. Kneecap and toes directly to the ceiling for this whole series. Up, and then when you go to the side, keep your toe and kneecap up to the ceiling. So you won't be able to go very far to the side, because parallel doesn't let you have as much range. That's okay, that's what we want. We want to train parallel and turned out, and you'll see the difference in a minute. So really go for parallel, toes up, kneecaps up, and done. Fold forward and relax. And then tuck your heels underneath you. Lift your hips up, stretch out those hip flexors for a moment. Rock forward and back between the hands and the feet. Just let the quads stretch. Also get a little wrist stretch at the same time. And then go ahead and sit back down. Our second set, go ahead and open and close the feet like a windshield. So the feet will look like this, turning in and out from the thighs. Deep breaths. Now this time, keep the legs turned out, so your feet will be in this position. Heels together, sit up tall, and then just lift and lower. You'll notice you'll feel the energy in the inner thigh a little more than the quad. So that's what we're working. Sit up tall, nice deep breaths. Pull the core muscles back into the spine. Really feel that back support from your front. Almost there, now take it up and side. You'll notice that as you turn out, you can go a little further when you turn out. And if you're interested in learning why, you can always message me and ask. I have lots of background in anatomy. I'd be happy to explain it to you. Up and side, 2 more times. And last one. And then release. Keep the legs turned out. Hold on to the outside edges of the foot and gently bow forward. You can also do this with slightly bent knees, and that works just as well. Deep breaths. Just want to let that back go. And get ready for your second side. Sit up tall against the wall, and then lift the leg up and down. So remember, you're still turned out. It's the inner thigh that is up to the ceiling now. The toes will wing out to the side a little bit. Deep breaths. Sit up tall. Really feel that deep core muscles. Oh, so much work. doesn't look like a lot of work, but it is. And if you're doing it, you know this is hard. Now let's take it out to the side. You should always give yourself credit for working hard. When you work through something that's hard, I think you deserve a lot more points than if something is easy. Up and side, use that inner thigh. You got this. 2 more. And last one. Oh, go ahead and bow forward. Keep the legs turned out and you feel a little bit of a different stretch on the outer part of your hamstring. Deep breaths. Nice job. Let's go ahead and come to the hands and knees. Getting ready to work a little bit of hip action and back. So go ahead and just start with a little arch in the spine. Shift the weight back onto the heels and then round the spine. Push your feet into the floor to bring your torso forward over the hands. Now push your hands into the ground, tailbone pulls back. Push into your feet, round and ripple the spine forward. So the spine is not doing the motion unless the hands and feet push it into it. So feet push to give the energy, and then the spine reacts. So this is a lot how animals will stretch. They push off with their feet, and then they let the energy transfer through the core and through the back. Feels really good, nice and supported. Let's go ahead and sit back briefly, let the back stretch out. And now coming onto the stomach. So bring yourself down. Feet are going to come a little bit wider, and your elbows are pulling back. We're just lifting the upper back for now. So bring the forehead to the ground, push your hands into the ground as much as you can, and then lift up. Now if it's too much, you can always come just to the forearms. So you want to feel the hands and arms pushing into the ground so much, that's what gets the back to come up. So use your hands, push into the ground, and feel that energy transfer into your back. Lift up and down. Remember, you can come to the range that's appropriate, so I'll show a couple with the forearms. Push the hands to the forearms, and then the back responds to it. Lift up. Now if you like, take the last 2 a little higher. Push up slow. And remember, the shoulders are out of the ears. You're using your back. And then come back down. Arms out to the side. Keep the legs about the width of your mat. And start to tilt your torso from side to side. Working your back muscles. Keep your feet on the ground. Push the tops of the feet and the toes all the way down into the mat. Deep breaths. Rocking side to side. And then back to center. Reach down one thigh and then the other. Touch one side of the knee and then the other. Working your obliques and your back. And this helps to create a 3-dimensional core that cinches the entire body around the spine. That way you get lots of low back support, you get lots of strength, you get way more efficient, and you're safer in all of your movements. Let's come to cactus arms. Tilting one arm to the ground at a time. This is a way to make it a little easier. Back work is never easy, so just give yourself lots of points. When you work through something that's hard, you deserve more points. Good, take the hands behind, clap the hands together as close as you can get, taking deep breaths. Reach, 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 and relax. Go ahead and lift your torso upright, pull yourself back onto your knees, stretching into that little child's pose. Maybe rock from side to side. Make sure that it feels really good. And then come back into the hands and knees. I'm just going to tuck this in so you can see. We're going to be lifting the core up and in without rounding the back. So we don't want to sag in the belly. We want to keep that nice and firm. Taking one leg behind you. Anchor the other bent knee into the ground. And then lift up. And then curl in. Up. Curl in. There's not a ton of movement in the back or the core. We're mostly stabilizing through the core so that that leg can start to isolate and strengthen the glute and the hamstring. Tuck in and out. As you stabilize the core, you'll also get a lot of abdominal work. So you get lots of good bonuses by keeping that core still and strong. Up and in. Stretch out long. In. 2 more times. And now hold the leg out, tap the toe to the floor. Tap and lift. Notice the back is still not moving very much. It's mostly just the hip and the thigh, that's all. Keep your hips square and center, parallel leg. Deep breaths. Last one, hold it up, drop down onto your forearms, and this will help to keep your back in place. And then tap the knee and lift. Tap and lift. We're on the same leg. If you're newer to this exercise, you can switch legs, but I recommend try it out. Try to do the whole thing on one side. Deep breath. Build endurance, build power, build connection, build coordination. Stick with it. And then hold it up, tap the toe to the floor, lift and lower, lift and lower. Deep breaths. Legs should be burning by now. Lots of work. Almost there. And last one. Go ahead and tuck your toes underneath you. Push your hands into the floor. Extend your legs and lower the heels to the ground. A little downward facing dog here. Take deep breaths. And let's get ready to switch to the other side. So I'll turn around, but you can stay where you are. Starting upright on the hands and knees. Pull the belly button in so your core is completely flat. And then extend your left leg out behind you. Lift up, and then get ready to pull the knee into the chest. Here we go, in and out. In and out. Deep breaths. Really stabilize your core. No movement in the core, or not much. There's going to be a little natural reaction, but you don't want it to be exaggerated. Make yourself work in parallel. Deep breaths. Press out and in, out and in. Notice the difference you feel from one leg to the other. Sometimes you have one leg that feels stronger, so that's good to take note of. And now hold the leg out, tap, and lift. So we're moving just from the hip and thigh. That's where we want to target. Keep your core strong. Deep breaths. I know that back is feeling it. We're going to be dropping down soon, so stay up as much as you can. Feet are parallel with each other. You're doing great. Two more. And last one. Hold for a moment, drop down onto your forearms. Get ready to tuck the knee into the chest. Here we go. Tuck it in and press out. In and press out. In and out. In and out. Push your forearms into the ground to give yourself more strength and stability. It will help that leg if you push into the other limbs. Deep breaths. Out and in. Two more times. The glutes should be on fire. And now hold the legs straight out and tap. Almost there, you guys. You're doing excellent. This is a lot of burn, a lot of work, a lot of coordination. But those leg muscles and glutes, they're going to train differently when you push them beyond their abilities. Almost there. 8 more. And, oh sorry, 4 more. And 3. And 2. And 1. Stretch it all the way back into your downward dog. Pedal out the feet. Should feel a lot of burn. Excellent work. So for this next one, go ahead and come onto one side. Forearm is on the ground. And you're going to be coming into a side plank. So you have a couple ways to do this. For those with a little more experience, you can lift and straighten from both legs. I'm going to show one where you cross one ankle over. This way you'll get a nice hip stretch while you're working your core. So I'll show both ways, but we'll start with the leg bent. It'll give you a nice hip stretch. Lift up onto your forearm. Extend the arm up to the ceiling to give yourself leverage. So really reach it up. Dip the hips down and stretch long. Dip, press the foot into the ground, and that will give you more of that hip stretch on the top leg. Deep breath. Up and down, up and down. 2 more times. Now get ready to take a twist with the upper body. Hold your hips upright, hand behind the head, turn one elbow down to the ground and up. Here we go. Open and cross. Open, twist. Make sure you're turning your torso, not just your arm. If you're flapping your arm, you're just working your wings. You want to work that core. 2 more. And last one. Slowly come all the way down, and then let your armpit come to the ground and put your hand into your head. I'm breathing a lot. You're working hard. Now taking the lower leg and just lift it up and down a few times. Working that inner thigh Giving the arms a little rest from all of the plank work. Take deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Now hold the leg up and turn the thigh inward and outward. So this takes a bit of coordination. It's almost like your toe is a key and it's trying to unlock a door. So turn from side to side, deep breaths. So your hips are still, it's just that leg moving in the socket. Good, and then fold the leg behind you, stretch your quad, let that go. We have one more planking set on this side. So you're welcome to do the same thing that we did earlier with the leg crossed, or you can take it up a notch. So you have the choice to lift the knee off the ground, and then dip and lift. Dip and lift. Takes a little more practice this way, but it uses the core in a very different way. Lift up and down, up and down. Now this one is kind of fun. You're going to be taking the elbow and the knee together. So this is an option. We only do 8 of these. So here we go, 8 and open. If you're not doing the knee, just do what you did earlier with just the arm. We're halfway there. We're on 5, 6, you should be shaking, 7, and 8, and down. Nice job. Go ahead and come up, bend one knee in, stretch over that long side. Really let that torso stretch out. Deep breaths. And then come up, stretch, open your hip flexors to the other side, and then come back down. Let's switch over to the other side now. Plank series, you know what's coming. Start with that cross leg. And remember, you can always use this other hand to help support your movements. It's a little easier that way. So go ahead and lift your hip off the ground, hand up as an option, and start to dip and lift. Remember that you are pushing through this side leg. Push down, and that's what lifts your hips up. It will work your core better, and it'll give you a bonus stretch. You should be feeling that by now. Let's take 4 more. And 3, and 2. And now hold it up, hand behind the head, and start to turn. Entire torso. So keep your elbow back. Try not to crunch the elbow in. Keep the elbow open. Turn your spine and your head. That's what makes the obliques work. If you're just flapping your arm, it doesn't do very much. So make sure you're specific. Use your technique. Almost there. 2 more. And last one. Good. Come all the way down onto your side. Prop your head up with your hand. Or if you're really tired, you can put your head down. Well, not even tired, just a different position for the neck. Here we go. Lift and lower the bottom leg up and down. So letting that side rest, letting your arm rest. Deep breaths. I always like to make use of your time so that even when we're having a rest, we're working some other part of the body. That way it saves you time and gets you a lot of the results that you want in faster time. Deep breath. And now take the leg up and turn the key. Turn your toe, turn your thigh. Your hips are still. It's just the thigh moving, like you're turning a key from side to side. Deep breath. Use those rotator muscles. These are important. They don't get worked in traditional exercise, not consciously. You kind of have to go to dance class to get really specific here. And then you're done. Clasping the foot, stretch your quad. Maybe put the other hand out for more balance. And let's get ready for our second plank set on this side. So stay where you are, come up onto your forearm, and remember, you can always have this foot on the ground as an option. You can also do it with straight legs, that works as well. We're gonna go right for the fun one, fun balance. So lift and lower, lift and lower. I like to use that top arm as an imaginary help. So imagine that I'm being pulled up by a friend, or I'm holding onto a rope and I'm helping myself up. Deep breaths. Lift and lower, lift and lower. 2 more times. And now get ready for the elbow and the knee. Here we go. Turn in and out. Just 8, 2, 3, and 4. Go slow. 5, and 6, and 7. Last 8. Woo. And lower it down. Extend that top leg. Tuck the other knee in and stretch sideways. Should feel so good. Releasing the abs, releasing the core, stretching the side body. And then circle hand forward, lift yourself up, lengthening long. Ah, so good. Back to the center. Bringing the feet back into your center. Rock your knees from side to side. Transfer onto one sit bone at a time. And then take your deep stretch. Fold forward. Nice job. Send your legs out to the side, arms out to a T, reach forward with your torso nice and flat back, and then lift up, and forward, and up. Now if you have splits in your practice, take the hands forward, and just gently relax down. Maybe resting on the elbows, maybe the forehead comes down. And then back to the center. So this last exercise, I'm going to move my mat away, because this requires a bit of effort. So I'm just on a smooth floor. This can be very helpful. You're just going to be rocking the hips from side to side. One knee will bend down at a time. One turns inward, one turns outward. You can do this a few times. If you like, you can swing one leg out and in, out, and in. This gives a lot of good mobility for your hips, and it also helps to release tension. And we created a lot of tension today in our core and our upper thigh. So this will help to bring you back into balance. Swing from side to center, side and center. Deep breaths. Almost there. Let's take 4 more. Side and center. Reach. 2 more. And last one. Extend your legs forward, bow down over the thighs. Come up, try your splits one more time, see if it made a difference for you. And reach up into the center, up and over. And reach up and over to the other side. Inhale, float the arms up, point your toes, and exhale, release. Bring the thighs back together, cross the ankles. And thank you so much for all your hard work today. I hope that you get a chance to do both videos, whether you do them separately or you do them all in one. Make sure that you get a good practice in every single day, and I hope you feel great and have a fantastic day.